Here from Meadow Lake. I put it up on the screen for people who can read it. As you can see, the live broadcast is on a bit of a delay, so if you feel a sense of deja vu, warping yourself out, that's anyhow. I think it's Norma in Meadow Lake, Tribal Council Employment Services. There are a lot of barriers with Aboriginal people within our province. We need to teach the young generation that we are able-bodied people, that we can do any job that we are asked to do. So I think, Wayne, you have somebody who agrees with you up in Meadow Lake. I was going to throw in one other point of discussion here. This was a slide that I didn't put in my presentation because it was too long. But in the Leader Post not too long ago, this is May 25th, so a couple of weeks back. It was one of these advertorial sections. It's not written by the regular editorial staff. It's bought and paid for by who buys the page. And there's two stories about First Nation perspective and two from the Métis perspective. But the overall thing is the Chamber of Commerce and the I used to call it used to be called RETA, but it's now called the Regional Opportunities Commission. Anyhow, it used to be called the Regina Economic Development Corporation. They've now have a new name. But I've heard them, he has a famous name, Paul Martin. I've heard him many times, singing this song. I heard him speak about it in Swift Current, of all places, and it's the same story that we've been hearing today, that he was basically encouraging businesses to not look overseas for workers, but to look locally and try to develop more Aboriginal employees. I found it interesting that this came out, still within their mandate in the last couple of weeks. I'm assuming, in the absence of anything else from the province, that this sort of business-driven kind of initiative is what we're going to see. Maybe a bunch of local initiatives like Victoria was describing, where people take up the mantle and the idea of a representative workforce and just sort of go ahead and do whatever they can locally, recognizing those principles, but not caring whether the province is at the table or not. That's one option. That's, well, I guess, one potential answer to Ibra's question about where things go from here. But also, presumably, we're also without a provincial government strategy. What this speaks to is leaving it to the marketplace, leaving it to the private sector to basically say, the market's going to work this out. So I think those are two answers to the question so far about where things are going from here. One is that it's going to end up local. There's no tracking, there's no coordination, there's no strategic investments. It's whatever locals can work out on their own without any resources other than their own, and the marketplace. Anybody think of any more? Or is that it?
I just want to say, though, that...
Could you go to a mic, please?
I mean, even though that's the reality, Larry,
Mm-hmm.
that's not the preferred process or strategy. I mean, as we know, that there needs to be some kind of provincial coordination for this to move forward. And I think that was what the goal of the partnerships initially was, and has always been, is to get that momentum and to that tipping point. So the more partnerships, the more people that are involved, that are coming to the table, the more buy-in you get, you have a provincial vision from all of these groups, and that's when change happens. If you want change to happen, you need more partners and you need a provincial strategy. So even though the reality says that those partnerships are dead, there needs to be something else to replace that, and I guess that's our task.
So,
but the partnerships aren't dead.
okay.
Well, no, I'm not not the partnerships, just the formal agreements that we had in place. Those formal agreements aren't being supported by the province.
But as people, we can take over the agreements. The strategy is still
Yeah.
valid. Whether the province wants to put up money, we designed the strategy. We used AWPI nationally, Aboriginal Workforce Participation Initiative, and AED provincially to help fund the strategy, amongst others that put up money. Unions put up
That's
money.
right.
All of us put up money to promote this initiative. Now, if the government says they don't want it, doesn't mean it's not the right strategy. How do you replace common sense? With what?
Yeah. That's why the principles are still solid, that the people who know the partnerships can still use the principles and certainly move it forward.
It's like the paper you just read, and I read that with John Hopkins, and they're going to help 2 or 3 people. That's not a strategy. You know, I'll give you as a challenge, and I was sitting with Bill Anderson, and we were in the Cornwall Center today, upstairs. I challenged him. Let's walk to every store in this building and find me one Aboriginal person that works here. When he says he's serious, give me a break. Not one Aboriginal person in the whole building. You know, that's what we got to do. We go to Safeway, nobody hires us, okay? We go to Loblaws or Superstore, nobody hires us. But yet we keep shopping there. It's our fault. You know, don't shop there no more until they hire our people.